Wagwan. Vercetti's a shit. Vercetti's a shit.
Vote for Rishav Raj, bro.
What the fuck? Why am I here? Yo, throw me down.
We'll wait for some more people to join and we'll begin. Okay. So welcome everyone for these debates, and we'll begin now with the debates. So we'll start with Rishav. Please introduce your party to citizens.
All right. Thank you, Pablo, and everyone who took time off their schedule to be here and give me an opportunity again for the second time to present here and reiterate my thoughts to you. For those who don't know me, I'm Rishav Raj, governor candidate for the Justice League Party. I have been a candidate for governor in the last election as well. You all have heard me in the debate last time, and after debate, I got a very positive feedback. Many of you have told me that I have dominated and destroyed the opponent completely in the debate, but unfortunately, all those best wishes and support I was receiving did not translate into votes. While most of you have turned up to vote for me, but many of you refrained from voting completely. Now, about my party, me in particular, and why should the citizens choose me over my opponent? I have been in government for almost a year. I have acted in several capacities in government throughout the last year. Sorry, actually, I have problem with my neck. So, while I started as a regular trainee for the government after the successful tenure of Blue Blue, when the deputy governor Sky Blue was handed over the mantle of running the state as interim governor. I later went on to serve the government, state, and the citizens in various capacities, such as USS agent to USS director, Minister of State, starting from Department of Education, Internal Affairs, Department of Labor, Department of Homeland Security, and later went on to take over as deputy governor. Our party was created in month of December last year. After all, if not most of the employees of government railed behind Master Killer, who was the deputy governor then and single-handedly was running the government for the then always absent governor, who knew nothing but to preach people about without practicing. Since then, it was the Justice League party that has successfully led the city and in the right direction. Today, the situation is similar to when the party was created. We face the same challenge after a similar term where the ex-governor Tabriz Federal has no idea whatsoever as to what he was doing. The biggest similarity between then and now is the way governors have run away from their responsibilities. When there is a crisis, the Justice League party always rises to the occasion and transforms the crisis into opportunity to deliver the best. During my appointment here in the government, I have learned and developed the qualities required to be representative of the people of the city, where I can work and act in the best interest of everyone. I by being elected as governor for the next term. The privilege of working in the Leo Orgs for so long has helped me to come across various people from all walks of life who have specific skill sets, which when put together and given the opportunity would work wonders in the best interest of every citizens, new or old in the city. That's why I have handpicked my cabinet for secretaries of states, DOJ appointees, and USS and DOC staffs. Unlike my opponent, Mr. Jhony Vercetti, who was hired into government as a minister directly without any previous experience in government and is a deputy governor today in no time. Of course, this is a testimony for the fact that to have taken over the Federal United Party that was in power after the previous elections and have rebranded itself as the Shining Light Party to contest the election because they know that they have achieved nothing and if they go into the election, the people of Los Santos would deny them outrightly and not caring about individuals who have actually tried to make some contribution at least toward the government even when the governor did not have time to come in the city. These were the guys because of whom the previous government under Mr. Tabriz Federal was able to function at least a term. I acknowledge their hard work. I would end this by saying that all my life in the government I have worked tirelessly towards the betterment of our city and shall continue to do so. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rishav, to introduce your party towards our citizen. Now I would like to invite Jhony Vercetti to introduce his party.
I would like to thank again Pablo and my opponent Rishav for introducing their party too. And now would like to introduce my party and myself to the audience over here. So, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow citizens. With a great pride and unwavering resolve, I address you today as the candidate of the Shining Light Party. This party was born as a symbol of optimism, a guiding light illuminating a path towards a promising future for the residents of San Andreas. Our mission, though simple, resonates deeply: order, security, and freedom. Let me take a few moments to share with you about my history in the city and in the city. I have been, as you've probably seen and heard, I have been FIB director for the last month, and as I've seen it, a lot of people that were in my organization have really liked it, and I've got those feedbacks back that they would like me to go for a government next. As you've heard probably before from Rishav, that I haven't been that much in government yet, but without any, I may not have any lot of experience in government, but I know how the organizations work, and I know how to fix the many issues the government is having. The first issue being that the lack of work ethics in creating documents, which leads to an employee not having the current fundamental knowledge that it takes to do all of active duties. The second is being a lack of vision. Through the terms of the Justice League Party, the city has seen no new changes to SSS and DOC, which caused the issue of lack of units, which is probably why during Nick's term, it was considered a half-day government because he ended his term with 50 to 60 people, and 1/4 being in suspension on the second term. Let me take some other time that I have on my speech to tell you, dear citizens, about our party's missions, which would be that we believe that true progress lies in the hands of people. It is our fundamental belief that flourishing state is one where the power of the democracy and freedom is bestowed upon each and every citizen, regardless of their background or occupation. We commit to creating an equal political playfield where both state-employed and privately involved individuals from all walks of life can actively participate in shaping the destiny of San Andreas. To achieve this to democracy, we will establish a Congress that is open to anyone who meets the requirements, allowing you to make decisions about legislation and internal state issues through your votes. We understand that an active Speaker of House is essential for this, as a vote cannot be held without one. We will ensure that this position is filled at all times. We are deeply committed to the safety of our citizens too. It has come to my attention that our law enforcement officers are sometimes outmatched by the criminals. This will not be tolerated. We will strengthen our law enforcement agencies to combat crime effectively. Our efforts will extend to inspecting state organizations to ensure that they are operating with integrity and accountability. In addition to our party objectives, we have several key goals for the citizens of San Andreas. We are determined to eliminate unemployment. It is a scourge that we cannot tolerate, and we will take proactive measures to eradicate it. Our central government can only thrive if we eradicate poverty and homelessness too. We will investigate vacant properties and provide financial aid and shelter to those who are in need. Financial aid will be extended to those actively seeking employment and in the need to support themselves and their family. As a party founded on an open liberalism, we are committed to transparency, accountability, and citizen participation. We will hold regular referendums and engage in social experiments to hear your voices and ensure our government remains honest and responsive to your needs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Shining Light Party stands as a promise to every citizen of San Andreas. We will stand for hope, for democracy, and for progress. Together, we will shape a future where every individual's voice is heard, where opportunities know no bounds, and where the state safety is unwavering. Thank you for your support and trust. Let's embark on this journey together.
Okay, thank you so much, Johnny, to introduce your party. By now, I hope our citizens are well introduced to both of our leaders and the party. Now, both leaders can ask each other their doubts, questions. So, Rishav, you can ask your first question to Johnny.
All right. So before us starting, actually have some problem with my neck, so just ignore my voice. All right. So, Johnny, let's talk about your promises first. You spoke about empowering the people with the power of democracy and freedom as the objective, the main goal of your political party. How can you even claim that there is no democracy and freedom in the state? Aren't those the basic pillars on which the city is built upon? Remember, if not for democracy, we would not be here debating each other for the next election. If not for the freedom, there would be no point in debating, because without the freedom, the citizens present here would not be able to vote and choose among the next governor. Further, you also speak, and I quote, enlarging the working class and ensuring an equal political field for all state employed, private employed, and working class, unquote. So apart from discriminating the citizens as upper class and working class, how are these goals are different from what the previous governments were working before a term have promised and later delivered, and the result are out there in open for everyone to look at. It is understandable that someone who has never been in government until last few days of the previous government and joined only with the intention of becoming governor is not aware of the thing that were happening around in the government. But the least you should have done is consult people who were constantly in contact with the daily happenings in and around government to find out which clearly you did not. And I further and if I further go, you have also spoken about reviving Congress and the House of Representative, just like we did in our election application. The funny fact is that there is no candidate or spot for a Speaker of the House in your application again. Just like the ex-governor Tabri's application, he wanted to revive Congress without a candidate for Speaker of the House. How we are after his term. Did he revive Congress? No. No. I pointed out during the last debate as well, and pointing this out again, which is a clear indication that you have just copied promises from ex-governor Tabri's application, which was again copied. Nope. Let me just say borrowed or that matter inspired from our own application. This is the testimony of the fact that you have just rebranded from the Federal United Party to Shining Light Party. Let the people who at least try to do something for the government and replace them with your closed ones without prior experience. Otherwise, everything is quite the same. Do you have any explanation on these points raised? Do you want to let citizens present here understand your position on these points?
Of course. So basically, about the question that you asked about the Congress, about that part, I can tell you that we would basically invite around 18 people for the Congress. That would consist of the 6 state organization leaders, the 5 gang leaders, the top 5 family leaders, and 2 constantly changing citizens that are selected through state wave selection. That we would get on the state waves, we would get announced that we are selecting those 2 individuals every week, and they could just come into the government and join into the selection, and we would ask them some questions that they should answer, and after that we would try to talk about that what would they want to change the city. And then on the meeting that we are doing the Congress on, we would talk about those mistakes and problems, and then we would try to get them to be fixed and try to make a solution out for it. On the other hand, on the other question on the other part of the question that you said that on the freedom and empowering the people through democracy and freedom, I have seen on the older terms of Liam Vercetti that I have been on the deputy side of him. I've seen the democracy that we had on those terms, and we had democracy. I'm not denying that, but we need more clearer ways and easier to make accessible democracy to all the people that is in the city, in the city and out of the city, in Sandy Shores and Palito Bay. We need to make sure that they can put their votes in to the normal days of the government. They can make a change.
Okay. Jhony, you can ask your first question to Rishav.
Of course. I would like to know your plans for the Department of Justice. If I recognize from the older terms that Poppy La Sombra is the reason that we are having this really good and working DOJ, as I could call it right now, in place, and if I'm correct, that you don't want Poppy as an AG or even in government. If I've seen correctly from your application that your only DOJ is Harvey Specter, a judge who in his records has been suspended 5 times before for never being in the city, and Frank Balik, who doesn't have any experience yet. How do you even plan on to have a DOJ at all, and why should people trust in a government like that?
All right, so that was a really nice question. So about Poppy La Sombra, I would not say it was a really nice DOJ because if you look in the legislation, you can just even you don't have Poppy either in your application or anywhere. You did not mention her anywhere in your application. So let's forget about me not wanting to have her in my party. And about my DOJ, if you have looked in my application really correct, there are like 4 people in my party members who have lawyer's license and who are, and being a lawyer license means they have passed the bar exam and they have enough knowledge of legislation to handle the work and take the case files, which is enough for a working government and a functioning government. And about the Attorney General, unlike you, I did not pick anyone randomly like Penny La Sombra. What experience does she have to be the Attorney General? And the thing is, I will just look upon the peoples in my party who have lawyer's license, and I'll just make sure that the best one gets that position who is capable enough. Thank you.
Okay, Rishav, you can ask your second question.
All right, Jhony, let's talk about about your promises. You have claimed that the labor department was abandoned by the previous governments. While I appreciate that you accept and acknowledge that party and party leader Tabriz, I'm not sure you would not agree, but it is clear that you have rebranded yourself as a different one, had abandoned the labor department, which is not the case with the previous governments of the Justice League Party. Your deputy governor candidate James Reun was the Minister of Labor during the last government of Justice League Party, and if he had done nothing during that time, then why is he part of your party as a deputy governor candidate? Please do not mislead the citizens with the rhetorical fallacies. And further, you go on promise your labor department would go on to investigate publicly and privately opened organizations of the state, which is clearly not the duty of the labor but HLS. But again, I'm sure you wouldn't know it because you were never in the government to understood how it works. And not only this, you go on to promise to investigate into stores and other businesses. You are not only trying to micromanage state orgs but also trying to interfere in the daily running of the private businesses. Was the recent incident of sealing gas stations by Minister of Department of Treasury even after paying taxes an indication of the thing that to come if you get back to power? You also speak at large about how DOE lack funds under ex-governor Tabriz, but you forgot it that it is DOJ that was taking care of DOE and DOJ law classes under ex-governor. But it's same DOJ team that your ex-governor Tabriz has targeted during his debate last time, but had the same DOJ team in his term. Likewise, you have retained the same underperforming DOJ in your party as well. Whereas we have pledged to get rid of them because we believe the left wing of capital desperately needs a cleaning. Do you have any clarity on the thing pointed out? Do you have the courage to tell and promise citizens present here that you will replace the underperforming DOJ you already have in your team if the citizens vote to you to power?
So, thank you for the question, and let me just start with your first thing that you asked me about the DOE. That, as I've stated in my application, the DOE has lacked funds. Yes, I know that in the past the DOJ was taking care of DOE and the DOJ's low classes, but now I would get a lot more funds into DOE and try to make sure that DOE is getting uh, teachers that can help the people uh, to get normal education that is not part of the DOJ. And I would make sure that we have enough funds for teachers, for classrooms, and for everything that is related to DOE, so that the DOJ don't have to have that much of responsibility over another department too. And about your other question about the DOL, the Labor Department, I've seen that it has been abandoned by not just Tabrez term, but by the parties that were before Tabrez. And I would like to state that about that we would get a lot more funds into it, as I've said about the education department too, and we would make sure that we don't like to micromanage the Department of Education, the other state organizations. We would like to help them to achieve better state inside of them and help the state officers and doctors and all of those to have an easier way and to work, and it won't be that much of a pain to get into work. Thank you.
Okay, Jhony, you can ask your second question.
Okay. How does having a state nurse as a party promise provide safety, assistance, or help to the city of Los Santos? Can you explain that to me?
So that's really a good question. So having a state owners, if you have read it properly, it basically states that there are peoples in Los Santos who are working in the what should I say, in the betterment of the city, and they are doing exceptional work in improving the city, and they should be recognized. Their work should be recognized, and that's why we promise the citizens, if they are doing anything that's for the state, they are doing some exceptional work, their work will be recognized, and we will award them with the title that would make them recognized in front of other citizens and encourage other citizens of Los Santos to work better for the betterment of city, and that way we can have a better environment in the city. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Rishav, you can ask your third question.
All right, Jhony. I begin by letting you know that we are a state and the government that governs us is a state government and not central. You kept referring to the government as central. I thought I would correct you as I'm not surprised you have no idea of it. Moving on furthermore on your promises. You promised to eliminate poverty and homelessness. Can you please elaborate more on this? And please don't say that you are going to get the citizens more jobs in the state organizations by doing numerous job fairs and open recruitment drives because the Justice League party has done it before. So please do explain the thinking behind the promise on how to deliver on eliminating poverty and homelessness. Furthermore, you say that you will be inspecting real estaters and look at the houses that are vacant and investigate the persons behind them. Which means, as stated earlier, you not only want to micromanage state organizations and interfere in private businesses, but also you wish to intervene in the daily living of the citizens. Do you think you should decide or interfere in the decision of making a owner of the property should or shouldn't rent his property, which is a clear restriction on freedom of living? And adding to that, you also said you would be dedicate a section of government-owned building to the homeless shelters. Could you list out government buildings which can be used as shelters? LSPD and FIB headquarters, or maybe DOC cells which are meant for criminals. Criminals, maybe. And what about necessary and requirement items in those shelters? For example, beds to sleep on. How do you plan on giving those things to the homeless? I would request Election Commission to take a note and look into these promises, which I think cannot be delivered and should not be made in the first place, and are in clear violation of the spirit of elections. And also, Mr. Jhony, please elaborate on the ways to deliver on these promises of giving out financial aid to the unemployed.
Of course. So first of all, let me talk about the financial aids that you were mentioning. That I talked with my closest cabinet, and we were talking about that we've seen a lot of poverty and homelessness in the state, and we would like to ensure that we lower those numbers, while we are giving our financial aid for those who are seeking employment actively, and we will try to make sure that to dedicate from the government's building, one of the sides of the government, to a homeless shelter that we will change into beds and living quarters for the homeless while they are seeking employment. And the other thing that you asked me about was yes, I know that I've talked about it in my party as a central government. I know it's a state government, but it's technically it's a state government. I just wanted to write it like it was easier for the eye. So, and about the other thing, about the houses that you were mentioning some seconds ago, that I don't like to micromanage people, because that would be violation of freedom. I would like to just check out who has any non-used houses, that they have more than two houses, and they are not using one of them. We will try to ask them that are they using it? Are they using it for anything? If not, then we would ask them. We would try to buy them or buy the properties of them, and try to give them to the homeless. And the other question that you asked me about was the other question that you wanted to ask me about was the about the state organizations, that as you said again, about the state organizations, that we don't want to micromanage anyone. We want them to work more efficiently, and we would like them to have a better way to work on themselves and work in the departments. And we would like to have them to have a better experience, and don't be financially blocked or something, or financially blocked by the gates of the democracy and by the financials, that they cannot achieve anything without money. Thank you.
Okay, Jhony, you can ask your third question.
Okay. And Rishav, how do you plan on growing departments of government without a clear and concise charter to define the roles and positions? And as you know, every other organization besides government has a charter.
Alright, I guess I have answered the same question in previous debate as well. So my point on charter is important, but that should be like a choice, not necessity, and that's why I am planning to do necessary changes in the Code of Civil and Procedure so that organizations should not be bound to use charter. For example, an FIB even need charter to go undercover, which is just pointless. It's their basic duty, and they should be able to perform it. Law should give them the ability to go undercover. They should not be having charter, right? So that's why I'm planning to do necessary changes in Code of Civil and Procedure and make charter as just if they wish they can have a charter if they want to do anything extra other than that law legislation allows, but I will make it so that the organization will be able to do their basic duties without even the charter. Yeah.
Okay, Rishav, you can ask your fourth question.
Yeah. So, Mr. Jhony, now let's look at people that you have handpicked for your cabinet, or should I say, borrowed from ex-governor's application. When I look at people you have selected for your cabinet, again, you have got almost everybody in there that I would never trust and would never let them be a part of my party. Let's talk about each one of them individually. Let's talk about your deputies. Liam Vercetti, somebody who protested at Capitol just to make sure his friend gets a promotion to HLS, is your candidate for deputy governor. No wonder why people refer to him as brand ambassador of toxicity in the city. And you want to hand over one of the most responsible jobs in the government to someone who attacked government and its staffs and murdered them in the broad daylight. That day is very much still fresh in the minds of government employees. What went wrong during his LSPD term that led to his removal or impeachment known to everybody here? And what do we expect from him if any employee of government doesn't respond to him or his orders? Maybe kill everybody again. He was the senator of his state in the last term. What did he achieve? Why did he reign away from the responsibility within 3 days? Again, James Ryun, you're another deputy. Through he was your deputy in FIB. Not to forget, he was stripped of his rank in LSPD for his toxic behavior towards other organizations. Just imagine being stripped of a rank in a term that functioned 10 days. Your Attorney General, what experience does he have to take up such a high rank in your cabinet? What was their previous experience in government? Everybody in here knows that you would not have this person mentioned in your application as your Attorney General. At least have the guts to be transparent to the people whose votes you are seeking to win in the elections. Chief of Staff, you mentioned 4 individuals as your Chief of Staffs, and none of them has a previous experience of government. Among them is the one who was among the 6 deputy governor in the previous term that lasted 30 days. Imagine 30 days term and 6 deputy governor. You would understand what experience he has. I don't even want to dig deep into the other candidate for chief of staffs, and moreover, you give the chief of staffs the status up and over ministers. Come on, the ministers are the first persons. They are heads of the departments. Why are the ministers discriminated against here? Because you have to give the best rank to your good friends, and you know they don't have any experience nor do they have the knowledge to deliver. So you want to go to the work to get done by the ministers while your friends have no idea whatsoever, will be commanding over them, just like how your unsuccessful term of FIB was led. Your candidate of Supreme Court judge does not even want to be spoken about. That would be a waste of time. Your Minister of Finance, what do I even speak about a guy who takes credit of all the hard work put in by the people who have served that in that position, starting Blue Blues term and all through 3 terms of Justice League Party's government. He goes around telling people that text database which was created and maintained so efficiently by previous governments is all his hard work. How low can someone get into? The government is sole owner of the tax record, which is why the previous ministers have left behind such an exceptional work so that the next set of ministers can take it forward. But unfortunately, this guy is using it as a weapon to secure his rank with both parties. Just to mention, your candidate for Department of Minister of Finance has even come to me and saying if I win, I should give him the same rank. So yeah. and who under whose responsibility the gas station around the city was sealed even after paying the taxes, which led the city to come to halt. It not only affect the daily life of the citizen but also dented in the economy of the city overall. Not to forget the tax the government lost because of that petty management, and not forget the corrupt charges on him over the issuance of the tax receipt. How do the citizens and business owners trust you having such an allegedly corrupt individual on your side, making the citizens question your own integrity? Your HLS, again, no previous experience. Your Minister of PR, how many events did they manage to conduct in the last term? Three or maybe four, compared to the Justice League Party achieved in our previous term. USS Director, apart from one of the three mentioned, other two candidates have not even been in USS agents before. How do you expect them to lead the USS? DOC wardens, none of them have experience of even a DOC officer, which is rank 5 in government, and you decide to give away DOC high command to them. And similar with the other members of your party, most of them have no previous experience. So, do you plan on hiring someone from the previous governments of the Justice League Party to teach yourself first, and later rest of your party members on how the government functions? Yeah.
So, thank you for the question, Rishav, and let me start from the top as you started first. So, let me just then talk to you guys about Liam Vercetti, my fellow friend and my fellow deputy governor. I know that there has been allegations and problems with Liam, and now I think he matured enough to take this position as the deputy governor. I think he can help me to make sure that he has been in the state organizations long enough to know the insides out, and I think he will make sure to be a better person now. And I think they will, and I think the people will see that he can change. That's what is my analysis about the other deputy governor, James Roon. While the elections were going on, sadly James Roon stepped down, and I have other person about it, another candidate for the other deputy governor spot called Leo Profit. He is a talented individual that has seen it in other terms, has seen government and other in other phases of the state organizations, and I think he will make sure to have a really consistent and working government for the citizens of San Andreas. And that let's talk about my Attorney General next, Penny La Sombra. Penny is here because I didn't want to pick Poppy into my party because Penny believes in the city and not in the politics. The law and the justice are separate from the politics, and that is the actual part of our citizens' laws. The DOJ is separate but an equal part of the government, as the AG Poppy doesn't want to join parties. And let's talk about my chief of staffs next. As you stated earlier, one of them, Damon Umbra, was an ex-deputy governor from Tabrezi's term. And if you've watched closely on Tabrezi's term, you would have seen that Damon had actually done a lot for government on those days. And I think he can help us to achieve a better government. And the other chief of staffs that I can tell you that Ken and Jason, I think they haven't been in government that much, but I think they will make sure to have a better chance at proving themselves amongst the eyes of the people. Thank you.
Okay, Jhony, you can ask your fourth question.
Okay. The US has been a topic of concern for the employees for the past few terms. What plans have you formally written in place to fix the issues with the US's employees barely having any actual duties?
Right. Can you just repeat your question? I was not able to hear it. Yeah.
Of course. So, the USS has been a topic of concern for the employees over the past few terms. What plans are you having to fix the issues with the US employees not having any actual duties?
All right. I think you have not seen USS in Justice League in the term of Justice League Party, but there was not much of a concern about USS they were having. nice time, and they were having a good training, and they were responding to everywhere they were supposed to do. So I don't think that's much of a concern, because I myself have been a part of USS from, as I have stated earlier, I have been in USS for like 7 to 8 months. I know every way to if there is if USS units are not good, I know every way to how to fix here, how to give them proper training, and how to make a proper training program for them. So yeah.
Okay, Rishav, you can ask your last question.
All right, Johnny. Now, while campaigning for your party, you stated choose a leader dedicated to hard work, someone well versed in intricacies of our state. Opt for a candidate with rich background and someone who has navigated every facet and comprehends the inner working of our beloved states. And I suppose you were not referring to me or my party as candidate with rich backgrounds. So, Mr. Self-proclaimed candidate with rich background, as citizens present here already know me and my party background. So, I think let's talk about yours. So our candidate with rich background is also an ex-FIB director, or let's say a failed FIB director. Our candidate with rich background, while being an FIB director, instructed his officers not to bring evidence for the case files, as he does not wanted to do gang raids and wants his term to run smoothly. In his whole term, he could only manage to do four gang raids. Just for reference, the FIB director before him, Dino West, was able to pull off 25 gang raids while he was FIB director in his term. And Mr. Candidate with rich background, without any previous experience in government and a failed FIB term as a leader, joined government as Minister of State and later promoted to Deputy Governor through a special reservation provided by the government to friends or relative of the governor. And then Mr. Candidate with rich background says the central government was helping criminals to get away with their crimes, and he will be working closely with the FIB and NG to ensure that if there is any gangs or major terrorist groups popping up, he can swiftly raid them and put an end to their reign of terror. So you very much acknowledge that the fact that ex-Governor Tabriz government was helping criminals to get away with their crimes, which means the DOJ was hand in hand with him, not doing their job, right? Otherwise, no other department in government is directly involved with any criminals. Not even USS. Even in USS, you can only detain. Still, you were going to election with the same DOJ team, naming a different individual as your AG. But everybody knows what will happen if you will win. At the same time, were you also referring yourself and your term as corrupt? Let's say you become governor and there is a FIB leader just like you, who has instructed his team not to bring any evidence for the case file and not to do any gang raids, and does not give any time in his office. How will you work with him and raid the gangs? And why would the FIB director respect a failed ex-FIB director and takes tips and suggestions from him? Otherwise, his own term will also end up like in Satyrs, just like yours did. And let's say I'm lying here everything, and everything I said here is false. Then why there were only 4 gang raid in your whole term, while even LSPD has provided you 17 pieces of evidence in just 1 week? And more so, as a FIB leader, why didn't you confront the ex-governor Tabriz while he was busy letting the criminals walk away free? Were you not in a responsible position? Were you not in charge of an investigation bureau? Did you reach out to the AG to start investigation in this matter? If you did reach out to the AG, did the AG told you not to work on it anymore, so that they support you for running as governor after Mr. Tabriz's term? The citizens present here are eagerly waiting for your answer. When you have not delivered as the FIB director, how do people believe you will deliver as a governor of the state?
Okay, thank you for your question, Rishav. And then let me start with my failed FI, as you've stated, my failed FIB term. So first of all, I didn't say anything anything like that. They should, my ex-agents should not bring any evidences. The setting, not setting, was that the gangs that were formed or were in Los Santos at that time when I was the FIB director. I didn't get the gangs were inactive at that time, so we couldn't get any evidences. We were actively trying to get evidences, but we couldn't. And I didn't instruct as the second time. I didn't instruct any of my officers not to bring any evidences. The setting was that we didn't have any evidences to bring. There weren't any evidences to bring. And after that, sadly, as you stated before, that we just only had 4 raids. The sad thing was that, as I stated earlier, we didn't have evidences to do the raids with. So that's why we just only had 4 evidences, sadly. And the next one that you said about the criminals that were going on freely was that I was trying to reach out to now ex-governor Tabresh Federal, but sadly he had caught some illness and I couldn't get any responses out of him. So I was trying to talk with him almost every single day of the week, but sadly he wasn't even responding to me. And the other part that you said that about that we will be closely working with FIB and NG to ensure that there isn't any major threats to our beautiful state. And I would like to keep the promise, and as some other promises too, that I would like to have close meetings with the FIB and NG to make sure that there isn't any major threats to our state. Thank you.
Okay, Jhony, you can ask your last question.
Okay. Then Rishav, who intends to offer low classes including one-on-one sessions and recruitment into Department of Justice when you have a single judge who demonstrates negligence in their duties?
Can you actually repeat your questions again? I wasn't able to hear.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, who intends to offer low classes including one-on-one sessions, as you stated in your application, and recruitments into the DOJ when you have a single judge who demonstrates negligence in their duties?
All right. If I could understood your questions correctly, you're asking me how I am going to build a better DOJ if I have only one judge of state in my party, right?
Right.
So the thing is, if you have seen my application very closely and read it carefully, there is a slot, there is a place for Attorney General as well, which is to be decided. Which, if you don't know it, that means to be decided. That means it will be decided later, right? So it does not mean that we don't have it. We will be running without an Attorney General and without any lawyers. We will be having fully fledged DOJ term, and without, of course, previous underperforming DOJ, we will be having a better DOJ team who will be working closely with the other law enforcement agencies and will be taking case files, which is so that citizens will not be just prisoned without any reason and they can have a good lawyers. Yeah.
Okay. So by now, I hope both of your doubts have been cleared. Now, I would like to say both of the leaders to take up the questions from the citizens. And Rishav, you can take your first question.
Wait, I can't see where is it.
From questions for leaders.
Oh yeah, got it. Give me a moment.
And I'll request citizens to ask their questions actively in that section so that you guys can clear your doubts.
All right, question from retired Daryl Scott. The last time Poppy was not AG was the time we had a corrupt DOJ. Poppy has also wrote the law for the state, and why would you not want someone who has done so much for us? So yeah, so the thing is, it's a good thing that Poppy has if I remember if I correctly, the term you are referring to as Blue Blues term, which had a corrupt DOJ, and I was not in that term, but as per I remember from the things that people have said, that was a really good term, and that term really went well. And about Poppy writing law, you should look at what thing that she has wrote. Just for an example, if you go into Code of Civil and Procedure, you can see that procedure for removing an Attorney General. You will, I mean, not removing, even to take action on Attorney General, you would have to gather leaders of the all parties, and Attorney General can simply order a USS agent to detain a governor. So that's what she written in the legislation, and that's what I am planning to change. Thank you.
Okay, Jhony, you can pick your first question.
Okay, I would like to pick we just see our businesses taxes, even if we pay our taxes like you did last time. So the last time that the businesses has been sealed, sadly, was a problem of a rogue problem last time. So it was a rogue problem of a rogue minister that he sealed everyone's businesses. So I would like to ensure that there isn't any doubt that the Minister of Finance that was right now Sean Albertus didn't in fact didn't do the ceilings, but didn't do the ceilings. He was trying to fix it after the problem breakout, and someone else, a rogue minister, had sealed the businesses, as by stated by interview with the governor by the Life Invader. Thank you.
Rishav, you can pick your second question.
Alright, question from Alpha Vercetti. Question to Rishavraj. Why is your objective are only taxes and parties? Are you thinking if you be governor, then you will not be care about other departments like DOC, USS, and DOJ? Look, Alpha, the thing is if you have gone through our promises closely, we have other thing like Congress. It has nothing to it is somewhere related to DOJ and about DOC and USS. Don't worry. The thing is, in if you look at the previous term of Justice League Party, we were always having a fully fledged working and functioning USS team, and DOC was at its peak in the term of Justice League Party. So we don't have to promise anything. We know that we can do it and we can deliver it, and we have just rest assured, we have n number of things that we are planning to do in our term. The thing is, we only promise the thing that we are sure that we will deliver. We are not going to put anything in as promise that we are not sure that it would be happen or it would not. So yeah.
Okay, Jhony, you can pick your second question.
Okay, I would like to pick my second question, Harley's good question, that how do you plan on to run Gov with no experience? So, as I've stated before, that I had the experiences in law enforcement before, and I would like to state that as I've said some minutes ago, that I have not have a lot of experience in government before, but I know how the organizations work because of my experience as the deputy of state organizations and as an FIB director, ex-FIB director, and I would like to fix those issues with those experiences. So, if you think that I'm not fit for it, but I think. It's okay, but I will try to make sure that you will see that I am okay for it, and I will be a good candidate for the better future of San Andreas. Thank you.
Okay, Rishav, you can take your third question.
Alright, so question from retired Daryl Scott. What changes are to implement to USS if you take over as governor? Will FPS, CAT, GIA into? So, Daryl, as I have stated earlier, I have been in USS for like 7 to 8 months, and if you don't think, we have thought about it very practically. If you speak about FPS, first person security, if you know, it's basically whole USS is for FPS. There is no need of a separate branch. CAT, if I know correctly, it's for like patrolling the city, which is not the work of USS according to the current legislation. USS can only respond to the city if they are called for assistance. And GIA, if you don't know, legislation already gave USS the permission to go undercover if required and ordered by the governor. So I don't think there is any need of a separate branch of doing USS. It's a basic duties, and all the USS units should perform them without any branches. So yeah.
Jhony, you can pick your third question.
Okay, my third question would be that from Vic Verlees, that what are my future plans for employment opportunities? I would like to start with that I would work closely with the other state organizational leaders, and we will try to make sure that they are getting their recruitments going on easily, and we will make sure that they are having an easier time to get new employees. And be sure that they have and the citizens to have an easier way to join into state organizations and become an LSPD officer, SHP officer, or a doctor, or an NG soldier. And I would like to make sure that they are having a good time and a good working environment in those state organizations. Thank you.
Okay, Rishav, you can pick your fourth question.
All right. So I see from King Alexander. Sadly, I can choose only one. So it will be Rishav. How will you mix? Sorry, I think I cannot pick this. Wait a second. So Pikachu's Tzariar. Question to Rishav Raj. How do we not know you are gonna be like all Justice League terms, never actually helping the citizens? So Pikachu Tzariar. So the thing is, if you, I think you have misunderstood. We were always helping the citizens in our term. We have, if you look at the go and check the legislation section, you will see that major legislation changes were done during the term of Justice League Party. In the three governors of our party, Mastakilla, Judy Kusman, Nick Payne managed to bring four important legislation changes for the citizen. Of course, that's for the helping the citizen. And the thing that you need to get, the thing is citizens also need to do something together. Like we can't just it's like impossible for us to reach every citizen. So if you have any issues, you uh, in the term of Justice League Party, it was like very accessible for the citizen to reach out to even governor directly if they have any issues. So I think you would be
Rishav, you are not audible.
can you hear me? Oh my, was I not audible this whole time? Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me? All right, Pikachu. A
Yes.
question from Pikachu Tzariar. Question to Rishav Raj. How do we not know you are gonna be like all Justice League term, never actually helping the citizens? So, Pikachu Tzariar, if you, I don't know if you have got the misinformation or you have got bad experience, unfortunately. But just to let everybody here know that our three governors from our party, Mastakilla, Judy Kusman, and Nick Payne, have managed to bring four important legislation changes for the city. Of course, they were to help citizens, and there are some things that citizens need to do to get the help. For example, they if they are having any issues, they need to reach to us. And in during the term of the Justice League Party, it was really easy for the citizens to even reach out to the governor if they need any help. So rest assured about it. If you have any problem, you can always reach out to us and our DOJ department if you require any help. Thank you.
Okay, Jhony, you can pick your fourth question.
Okay, I would like to pick Darius Scott's question that as we know, DOC is understaffed. Will DOC be changed at all, or if so, what changes will be made and how will you do it? So, first of all, I would make sure that the DOC are full 24/7 and they are and we have staff that can constantly be on the gates and inside of the DOC to make sure that the prisoners are behaving well and they are not doing any kind of and they are not having any kind of mistreatment. I will make sure that the DOC is having a constant lookout for, and I would personally make sure that the DOC is operational, and my DOC officers are feeling well and energized for their duties. Thank you.
Rishav, you can pick your last question.
Like question from Gov Leo Hill. Question to Rishav Raj. How do you planning on lowering down corruption rate? If so, mind explaining the process. Leo Hill, the thing is to lowering down the corruption. It's the citizens who should play a vital role in it. We as a government will be doing regular state inspection on the organization to make sure there is not any corrupt officer. And just to let everyone here know that in our term, we were able to even while in the state inspection, we found out that NG leader was corrupt, and we were able to get rid of them. So yeah, to remove corruption. It's the citizen who plays the vital role. If you have any proof of evidence of any corrupt officer being, any officer being corrupt, you can always come to us and report to us. And rest assured, we will be taking any required action that's required. Yeah, thank you.
Jhony, you can pick your last question.
Okay, so I would like to pistol on Tzariar's question that how can you give home to homeless people, which is not possible at any point. Is this promise fake? We all know this is not possible. Can you explain the process? Of course. So the first of all, that I would mean that I would bring the homeless people closer to the help that they can get. I would make sure that they are getting their necessary helps to get a normal job and that they can sustain. And after that, we would sell the house to them with a normal price that we can sell. And the people should have an easier way to get their life under control, and they should be easier to make their lives. They should have a tool to make their lives easier. Thank you.
Okay, so by this time, I hope many of your doubts have been cleared and both of the leaders have well introduced their party. So at this time, we have come to an end of the debate, and tomorrow all the citizens can go and vote at the government building from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. And you can choose your right leader, and yes, for the progress of the city. Thank you for the listening, coming and listening in the debates.